Well, hey, howdy do. We're out here in the shed, and this is my center section for my Dana 44 axle for the Jeep. We're going to attempt to figure out how this thing comes apart, because I need to get the clutch packs replaced in the limited slip. So, not exactly sure how this gets done. This pin in the middle here won't come out because it's hitting the main pinion gear. And I don't know if the bearings have anything to do with holding them in. That one's got a little play in it. Of course, this one does too, so they may... I don't know if they're good or bad. I don't even remember if the races are in on the axle tube itself. But I think we're going to go ahead and pause this for a second. I'm going to go run out and look at the axle, see if the races are still stuck in there. And grab a rag, and we'll see what we can figure out on this thing, because I'm not too sure. Alrighty, we are back. The races are out of the other axle, the main axle, the axle tubes. They just set in there, so that's good. Also went through the disc and printed out the carrier section information. So hopefully they're not very good pictures, as you can see. But now we've got written instructions on how to get this thing apart. So, because I cannot remember stuff like this for the life of me. I don't have that good of a memory. Like I always tell people, there's something I was supposed to forget, but I can't remember what it was. So, we're going to get ourselves a little more situated here. Get my fancy dancy gloves out. Oh, I left the rags inside. Go grab those. And then we'll... talks about using a vise. I do not have a vise to hold this piece. But we're going to try to get the ring gear off. I think that has to come off to get everything else out. And we may just disassemble it all together anyway, and hopefully it'll go back together. So, be back momentarily again. Oh yeah, this is fun. This is the fun part. Gotta figure out the torque on these. Those are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 of them. I've got 2 down. Using a Jeep wrench to be done. But if anything happens to it, I'm not wrecking one of my nice ones. It's an old popular mechanics wrench from a set my folks got me, one of my first tool set years ago. It is cold out here right now. This metal is getting into my fingers. Now I see why you're supposed to use a vise. Make this a whole lot easier. Fortunately, I don't have any place to put a vise. Actually also calling for you to pull the bearings first, but get this ring gear off. Less chance of damage if I drop this thing. Although it's just a wood floor in here, but there is metal around the bearing press, so. We've got 3 more to go. Whew, my hands are cold. This metal's been sitting out in the garage for months. This center carrier here, so. talking about this for a long time, breaking this down. As usual, takes me forever to do stuff. One more to go. That one's already loose. Whew. Backed out. Oh, I think I missed one. That one's still pretty tight. Yeah, maybe it was just finger tight. Just smells like burnt oil. There's probably those clutch packs in there that are fried. Yeah, it is like burnt toast and oil. So no sunshine again today. It started creeping out late yesterday as I was heading home from Ken's place. But when I got back up here, I still had this heavy marine layer. Some places down south even got snow this morning, including possibly my folks. Let's get this set up here. We'll have to clean everything up real good before we put it all back together. Yeah, there's lots of black sludge in here, so this poor rear diff was hammered on. Of course, I remember what the thing looked like when I drug it home, coated in mud. Should go up and grab a couple big cans of carb cleaner or something. Alrighty, that is apart. Now, how does the ring gear come off? I wish I could find my rubber mallet. So we really don't want to beat on this with the steel, although I guess if I get it right on the edge, it's okay. Where none of the teeth are going to hit. Probably smarter to do it this way. Just let it fall. That should be pretty hard steel, so like that. The ring gear is off. The pinion, I guess they call that. Hopefully there's no markings as to it has to go back in a totally specific direction, but whew. So again, I wish you guys had smell-o-vision, because this thing smells burnt. There's some pitting in a couple of the axles, but that's just from sitting. Or not axles, a couple of the gear sets in there. But I don't see any cracks or signs of shoddy repairs or anything like that. So the edges are all nice and sharp still. So our pinion is good, as far as I can tell. Never having done this before. Set you right up there. There's the center pin. A little bit of a wear line all the way around. Focus. You can see the line right in there. Hopefully that's not a big issue. This side over here doesn't have it. I mean, it's there, but you don't feel it. It's also got some chew marks right up on top there, but I don't think that's a critical, well, it's critical in holding all the little gears together, but that's probably just where the little snap ring goes, which reminds me, I think I lost one of them when I was tearing this thing apart, so I gotta make sure I find that. Yeah, this thing's been apart once before. You can see on the end there, somebody's hammered on her. So, next off is, I don't know if our new bearing tool will be able to, she should. Get her to open up wide enough. Slide this pin back in just to hold everything. I guess the snap rings went on the inside. Okay, so we're okay, I think. Yeah, not quite. What I'm going for here, as you can see, the main carrier here and the bearing. This thing's got a thinner piece right in there. I'm hoping it's going to fit right in between. Looks like it will. I got to get her to open up wide enough to get around said bearing. Still not enough. So I'll have to rip her all the way down. Slide open. There we go. So, slides around the bearing. One side's clamping underneath it nice. The other one, of course, we can run these down too. And guys over here so you can kind of see what I'm doing. Yeah, I think we're down underneath her good. Let's see, what diameter is that? It's pretty big. I'll probably just get away with a crescent. Down a little bit there. I don't know how tight you're supposed to make those. Down just a little bit more here. Tools to work. These tools also spend a bunch of time out in the garage so they're nice and cold. Yeah, that's pretty snug. I don't think we need to do that. Now the next thing is I gotta find something that is the same diameter as this little tube. Just where a chunk of pipe or something would come in handy, but I may just have to use a socket if, well, it's definitely not big enough, if I have one big enough. Go run back out to the garage. I don't want to use the whatchamacallits for the seals because they're just anodized aluminum. Those will go right through it. What are we looking at here? Well, it's almost 1.5 inches outside to outside of this inner ring. I'm pretty sure I don't have 1.5 inches. So let's stop here for a minute and let's go see what we got. Okay, so we're going to grab the impact socket set. Biggest one it's got is 1.25 inches, which will work. Actually, that'll be just about perfect. A little higher grade steel, so hopefully it'll handle it a little bit thicker too, it looks like. So nice solid backing piece for putting the beans to her. So let's see if we can't set up the new press. I was going to call it the old press, but and give her a go. We will give her a go. So I have to replace those bearings anyway, so they're all coming off. Oh, goody goody. Okay, I got to think this through a little bit. Put it in the vise to push down to drop the whole carrier while this piece is holding the bearings. I got nothing for this to rest on. I are confused. I could probably get the other side because I think the removal tool will rest on the plates on the press itself. So, because I don't want to put it right on the edges. Bend one of these or something, that would kind of be an unusable tool. I mean, not that it's really expensive, but it's still 25 bucks. It does have 2 bolts here. I don't have. I do have a couple of bolt holes running through these plates. I don't know how. Let's pull you off here for a sec. If I put a couple of bolts in here and run those are a lot smaller, and I really don't have anything to drill those up to the size we'd need, and that's 1-inch thick steel. Interesting. Like I said, I'm going to have to sit here and think on this one. I may just reverse it and do that one bearing there to get that done. See how this press works. So hold on, let me do that. Alrighty. Not going to work. This part doesn't fit down the center beams of my my press there. Ain't that about a, you know what? The whole reason I bought the press was to get this all apart. I do have a bearing puller, but it's not a real high quality one. It's probably more of a pulley puller. Even still, I don't have. It's not gonna work either. I don't have anything to. That's more of a pulling pulleys and whatnot, but I don't have anything for the center section to ride on to back it out with. Well, crud. I think we're gonna wrap it up for now. See what we can figure out. There's got to be a way to use the press to get these undone. Somehow, some way. Maybe I gotta make some sort of little jig or something to sit on there. I could put the plates up on end, but I don't like that idea. It's going to make them a lot more unstable. I'll put these upright like that, but they're not flat, so they're not going to work that way. Huh. Interesting. Well, back up to the drawing board, I guess. That's interesting. How the heck do you get those off? I guess I could just... I'm going to try reefing down on them. Maybe that's not going to bring it up very much, but... because it does taper up in here. But that's still not going to get the whole thing off. I do not know. So we're going to end it here and see what we can come up with later. Alright, new dilemma. So I just cranked down on this one bolt just to see what would happen if I could pull the bearing off a little bit. And it's just catching the outer bearing ring. It's not catching the race in the middle. So it's just wanting to lift this piece. So I don't have the clearance with my puller to even get under there to do what I need to do. I would have just popped all the bearings off, which, I mean, that's a feasible way, but that's going to send a lot of stuff flying everywhere. There's a little bit of tension on that right now, but I may have to take this one in to get it pressed off as well. I don't want to, but darn. Okay. Makes me wonder how the new one's going to go on.